And we're for basically proteins, if we're in the absorptive or the fed state. Okay. So you're going to have high insulin, even though they may have to do with carbohydrates, but still even amino acids triggers that. And low glucagon, as you know, these are opposing. This is going to decrease blood sugar levels, it's going to increase blood sugar levels. So generally speaking, and then versus your post-absorptive state or fasting state, you're going to have the opposite. You have decreased insulin and increased glucagon. Okay? So during the fed state, you're going to bring in proteins, right? So your proteins are going to produce your amino acids. So one of the first things your body's going to do is that it's going to use those amino acids to make proteins, such as what? Build. Oh, you're still writing. I'm sorry. So you can think about building something. Off our phones. We're finished with our break. So anabolic. As you know, the absorptive state is going to be anabolic. So we're going to build some stuff. What are we going to build with those amino acids? Muscle. Okay, what else will we build? Don't tell me proteins, because we already know that. We don't know what we use proteins for? Muscle. We already have muscle. We're going to link amino acids together via peptide bonds to build muscle. What else? Repair. We're going to build muscle. We're going to repair what? Yes. How about hormones? We can make hormones. We can repair cells by repairing parts of the cell membrane. So you know there were protein interspersed among the phospholipid layer, the cell membranes. What was a hormone? Sorry. You know you can make more enzymes, like we talked about yesterday. So this is going to happen during the absorptive state. And so that's pretty much what we kind of goes without saying and kind of intuitive. What we're interested in is what happens to the amino acid if we want to break them down. Okay. This would happen during the post-absorptive or fasting state. So normally, as you saw, amino acids are used in anabolic. They're used to build things instead. And so normally we don't use amino acids to make ATP. But if for some reason you don't have enough glucose, you've gone for a long period of time without eating, then your body will, instead of using it all, getting it all from fat. So let's say you haven't eaten for a day or so you've depleted your glycogen. So now we don't have glucose to go through our glycolysis, prep cycle, and ETS. So now the body's saying, hey, well, we need to make ATP, otherwise we're going to die. So it'll start getting it from the fat, as we'll see in our next section, your fat metabolism. It'll start breaking down the fats, your fatty acids, and your monoglycerides. But it doesn't want to use up all the fat, because it doesn't know if this starvation period is going to last forever. So therefore, the body will then start breaking down muscle. And this is where the amino acids come in. Okay? So the amino acids are broken down, usually in the liver. Okay. So first process is called transamination. And basically, transamination basically says we're going to move an amine group in H2 and H3 from one amino acid to another. usually there's one amino acid that has a removed, it's called a keto acid at that point. It's called a keto acid. Instead of amino acid because it means been removed. Amine, A-M-I-N-E. Yeah. Precursor to amino, or for ammonia, see. And the next step is that we're going to remove that amine, that is an amino group. So it can be various forms. Sometimes you'll convert it, your body convert it into NH4. And so this eventually in the liver will be converted into urea and we'll dump it out in the urine. So that's how the ammonia portion is removed. This keto acid will now be converted into, through a series of steps, into acetylcoenzyme A. And now it can enter into the Krebs cycle. And then produce ATP. So this is how muscle is broken down to make ATP. Okay, so you start with transamination first, and then you have deamination. But basically, the transamination is producing the keto acid, the alpha keto acid, to be able to go into the but we need to get rid of the ammonia, the amine group, because it's toxic and build it in the body. Okay, so we've catabolized the amino acid. And this is being able to use the amino acid for ATP. Yes? Okay. So only about 10 to 15%. You're wondering if we, how much of it? Only about 10 to 15% of amino acids are used to make ATP. The vast majority still comes from fat. But if you're starving for a long period of time, you go on some sort of weird low carbohydrate diet or something like that, we also set a little bit of this motion too. Okay? All right? Okay, so let's say after this, after you start eating again, and then you go like, okay, I can't stand it anymore, so I'm going to eat after 3 days of not eating. And so then you start bringing in your amino acids again, right? So you eat proteins, and so you're going to go through your anabolic pathways, right? And you're going to start rebuilding that muscle and rebuilding the hormones, etc. But let's say you eat a lot, and it's more than what the body needs. So then now those excess amino acids are also going to be eventually converted into fat. So let's look at that. So any excess amino acids, usually because you're eating a whole bunch of protein, much more than the body can process. So the amino acids are broken down into 2 different groups. Matter of fact, they're broken down even into more than these. Okay. But for us, we have glucogenic amino acids, and we have some of the ketogenic amino acids. So you kind of get an idea of where we're going. If you look at glucogenic, yes, sugar. So this is eventually going to be stored as glycogen. And the keto, and some of you may have heard of ketones, is related to the burning of fat. And so these amino acids are going to follow the pathway of fat and eventually be stored as fat. Okay, that's you. So the glucogenic amino acids are going to be converted into pyruvate. So they're going to enter the pathway, okay, at the end of glycolysis. But now we're going to go backwards. Instead of going forward to Krebs cycle, now because we're at the end of glycolysis, we're going to try to work backwards to the beginning of glycolysis. It doesn't use, it uses similar pathways but different enzymes. Okay? And so from here, it can be eventually be converted to glucose and then be stored as glycogen. But a good portion of them are going to be ketogenic, and these will be converted into acetylcoenzyme A. Oh, no, sorry. I gotta finish this part first. Instead of pyruvate, it can also succinate, I think fumarate. So these should sound familiar. These are intermediate steps in the Krebs cycle. So some of the glucogenic amino acids can then, instead of following the pyruvate route, will enter into the Krebs cycle at these routes here. Okay? And then these eventually will reverse back into pyruvate and then be stored as glycogen. Because these are at the end of the Krebs cycle, so they kind of enter there and kind of go back up.
Can you say that again?
So here's your Krebs cycle right here. These guys are right here. Okay, here's your acetylcoenzyme A. And then here's your pyruvate. Glycolysis and eventually go all the way to glucose. And then that can be glycogen. Okay, so these guys can enter, some of these amino acids can enter right here. And they basically go this direction, up this way. Different enzymes. Okay, the ketogenic amino acids, they would get converted into acetylcoenzyme A. So they're going to come here. And fatty acids can enter into the Krebs cycle as acetylcoenzyme A, so now we reversed it. So now these amino acids are going to be stored as fatty acids, we can convert into fatty acids plus your glycerol. And this will be stored in your adipocytes. Okay, and your fat. And that's how excess protein will be stored as fat. So we eat too much protein, we either store it as glycogen, and we follow this pathway, pyruvate, or one of these intermediate steps in the Krebs cycle, eventually converting it to pyruvate, glycogen, or we convert it into acetylcoenzyme A, in which the pathway, this is a reversible pathway, and then we're going to store it as fat in our fat cells. You can see where I said this is reversible. You can see when we get to fat metabolism, that if we want to break down fat, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to break down fat into fatty acids and glycerol. Fatty acids will be converted to acetylcoenzyme A, and we'll go through the Krebs cycle to make ATP. Okay, so any questions on metabolism of amino acids? Is that okay? Overloaded? Good? Yeah. I know. No. Finish writing? So then now our next topic is fat metabolism.